Hi guys, this is my very first postpartum vlog. So I thought what I would do is for this video I would just kind of talk about the birth, and then for the next one I'll go through the week. Okay, so the birth. I had such an amazing week leading up to the birth, really connecting with my baby, my body, having to let go of the idea that my baby was late, because by the time I birthed I was 40 weeks plus 5 days, and it was really an emotional challenge for me to surrender to the idea that he had his own divine timing and he was going to arrive when he wanted to arrive. So come Sunday the 11th, I had a checkup with my midwife, and she checked me and she was like, oh, you're 3 centimeters and almost 4 centimeters dilated. And I was very shocked because I had only up until that point been having a bunch of Braxton Hicks contractions, which, as many of you know, they're the contractions where you feel your belly tightening but there's no pain surrounding it. And I'd been having a bunch of them. There had been a few nights of like on-off kind of cramping, but nothing that I thought would make much of a difference in terms of dilation. So on Sunday I was feeling pretty good about the fact that I was already that far along, and I know with Bodhi's birth, to get to 4 centimeters dilated, that was a very strong effort. Like, I was really having to breathe through very strong contractions to get to 4 centimeters. So to be at that point without having had done any of the hard work was pretty exciting. That night I went to Christmas carols in Adelaide. I was feeling very pregnant and excited, but really not, I didn't have any idea that I could possibly go into labor the next day. So in the morning I woke up on the Monday and didn't feel anything at all, nothing different. And then about 8:45-ish, I got a contraction, but it felt different. It felt like a Braxton Hicks, but I could feel something in there, like some, just a feeling, a sensation, as opposed to not feeling anything. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then about 6 minutes later, I had another one. And then I started noticing that I was having these regular feelings about every 6 minutes, and then it started to go every 4 minutes. So at that point I'd had about 4 or 5 of them in a row. I was like, I'm just gonna time these. And they started off feeling like light period cramps. And so I said to my husband, like, oh, I'm actually timing these contractions because they feel different. Something feels a bit different here. And so I started timing them, and then around like 9:30, I started like having to breathe through some of them. And then Mark's like, okay, why don't you and Bodhi go for a walk out on our land? And so I was like, all right, cool. So I went with Bodhi and we went for about 15 minutes, and I started having like lean on some trees and really kind of like breathe through some contractions. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. I got really excited. So I texted Kat, my doula, and my best friend, who's also a paramedic. And I was like, hey, just so you know, I think it's happening now. It's definitely happening. So I also texted my other friend, Cassandra, who was booking my birth photographer's flight, Gemma Pranita. She was flying down to take pictures at birth. So I was like, book her on the next flight. It's going to happen today. Like, maybe by tonight I'll have a baby, or tomorrow morning I'll have a baby. So it started kind of moving. I was like outside with Bodhi, and then I came inside, and it was like 10:15-ish, and I was like, wow, I'm really breathing through these. And I started kind of low moaning, and my mum was